Hello, children. How are you? That's nice. We're here talking about reading strategies like we've been doing. This is strategy number 5. We are talking about summary. Okay, so what is it? A summary is putting the most important ideas or information in a piece of writing into an original text of your own that's way smaller than that original text, okay? Some really important things to keep in mind here. Most important, those words are in red. You just want the most important information. Also, significantly smaller. If it's ginormo, like the same size as the original, what's the point? Why is this useful? Well, summarizing text helps us to keep track and organize all of the really important pieces of info we get while reading something. That allows us to access them way more easily, to describe them, to interpret them, to call them back, to explain them to other people way more smoothly. What it comes down to really is that summarizing just helps us organize the information into a manageable size. We got 4 steps for this strategy. The first one, and really the first couple, should be pretty familiar to you guys. The first one is to identify the topic of the text. Look at the whole thing and think, okay, what do all of the ideas connect to? What is the topic or subject of this passage, this paragraph, this chapter, whatever it is that you're summarizing? 2 is to determine the central idea. So you're going to cruise through that thing and find those key details and come up with your central idea. This should be in your full summary. In fact, I would recommend having your central idea that you develop in this here step 2 be your first sentence in your summary. Step 3 is to go back through it and list all the most crucial who, what, when, where, why, and how information in chronological order. That means in order from what happens in the beginning of the text through to the end of the text. Now you have to really think about what is most crucial here. Step 4 is just putting all of the information from steps 1 to 3 together in a paragraph. Again, a brief paragraph. Why make it a paragraph? Because when we put it into complete sentences, it makes it stick in our brain more. It makes it belong to us more, and that is important. Some things to remember. You're looking for only the most important information. You're going to have to make some judgments about which details should stay, which details should go, what's the good stuff, what's the bad stuff, what's the important stuff, what's the unnecessary stuff. Remember that you're trying to condense the original text into something smaller to make it manageable. So if your summary is the same length as the original, it's not going to be particularly useful to you. It's not going to make organizing that information and accessing it a whole lot easier. Finally, you got to use your other strategies to generate a successful summary. So you got to use your words in context to figure out what the text is actually saying to you. You're going to make sure that your central idea is in there so the most important thought is present in your summary. You want to paraphrase that info to make it easier for you to understand and work with, so put it in your own words. And then finally, you're going to want to use tone to gather more information and insight about the text. Remember that tone tells us a lot of stuff that might not be in there directly. So let's give this thing a whirl going through our steps here. Here's our passage. When one hears the term reality applied to a television show, one might expect that the events occurred naturally, or at the least, were not scripted. But this is not always the case. Many reality shows occur in unreal environments, like rented mansions occupied by film crews. These living environments do not reflect what most people understand to be reality. Worse, there have been accusations that events not captured on film were later restaged by producers. Worse still, some involved in the production of reality television claim that the participants were urged to act out storylines premeditated by producers. With such accusations floating around, it's no wonder many people take reality TV to be about as real as the sitcom. Okay, so step 1, our topic. Oh no, I forgot to put the topic in there. Well, that's easy, okay? The topic is reality TV. All the ideas in this passage relate to reality TV in one way or another. Next, we put together our central idea. And the central idea that I've came up with after all of this stuff is that reality TV is actually very controlled and artificial, despite what the name would suggest. 3, I'm looking for my who, what, when, where, why, how information. So the stuff that jumped out to me that seemed most important was the idea that they occur in unreal environments, that many have accused that events not captured on film were restaged, and that participants were actually urged to act out storylines premeditated by producers. Everything else seems to add to those ideas, but those are the real core ones, the key details that help me understand what I need. So when I put it all together, this is what I got. So-called reality TV is actually very artificial. There's my central idea. They take place in unrealistic locations. Many events that take place on the show are staged by the filmmakers. In fact, some claim the storyline are pre-written. See how much smaller this is than the original one? It's so much tinier and nice. All right, I forgot to put a word here. I'm feeling kind of sick, children. There were definitely some errors in there. You can harass me about them when we see each other next. But remember, use your strategy. Make sure you're doing that practice problem on your note sheet. Bye-bye.